Hello and welcome to Whence Came You, a Freemasonic podcast featuring research papers and discussions related to Freemasonry. I'm your host, Robert Johnson, a York Rite Mason and Knight Templar. Well, it's been a whole year of podcasts, and this makes episode 53. We have over 41,000 downloads, which isn't that much compared to these huge shows, but for a niche podcast about Freemasonry, I'd say we're doing great. So as part of a celebration, we're going to offer the Whence Came You Podcastbox app on sale for the week of the 23rd. So from July 23rd, 2012 to July 27th, 2012, the app will be half off. So you'll download the Podcastbox application and search for Whence Came You. You do a one-time in-app purchase of 99 cents instead of the usual $1.99. The money we get from the app sales all go back into the show and basically pay for the hosting fees for files and such. And while we're in the realm of keeping the lights on, I'd like to mention that if you want to help us out but don't want to spend any money, you can hear Whence Came You while on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio. Available for any mobile device. When you download Stitcher to hear Whence Came You, you have a chance to win some money. They do a monthly drawing for $100 cash. Downloading is quick and easy. Just find Stitcher in the App Store. Download it. It's free. Takes a few seconds. During the registration, hit the promo code box and enter Whence Came You. What that's going to do, it's going to automatically enter you to win $100, and it lets them know you came to Stitcher Radio to listen to Whence Came You, and that gives us $1. Helps keep the lights on. The latest episode of the show will be waiting for you in your favorites. You'll get access to lots of other amazing shows too. Always available to you on demand. No syncing. And don't forget to enter the promo code Whence Came You, WHENCECAMEYOU, when you register. So this week I have a theme, the Olympics, a tradition that goes back to ancient Greece. The games are days away now. They are set to be in London this year, so I have a bunch of stuff involving Freemasonry and the Olympics. The first piece I have for you is an article from June 11th in Freemasonry Today, entitled Picking Up the Pace. Commonwealth Games medalist Mike Winch explains the history of Spencer Park Lodge and how it has managed to draw Olympic hopefuls like James Ellington into its fold. At first glance, Spencer Park Lodge is indistinguishable from any other post-war London lodge. It was formed in the wake of devastation and founded on the camaraderie instilled by years of shared hardships. However, over the past 66 years, the lodge has counted runners, cyclists, football referees, and sports coaches among its members. One of its newest members is James Ellington, under the watchful eye of another Spencer Park member, John Powell. James has forged his way into the Olympic relay squad as well as looking a good bet for an individual 200 meters place. He finds Freemasonry an enjoyable release from life as an increasingly high-profile international athlete. It's a great way to switch off from a pretty high-pressure life right now, and I've met some terrific people. The lodge is an ideal opportunity to do good while having a bit of fun with the other members. James is a great believer in giving something back, coaching disadvantaged youngsters in the Met Track scheme in London, as well as doing as much work as he can within the lodge. Spencer Park can be proud of the fact that its members have supported James in his efforts and can look forward to watching him grace the Olympic stage. So what is it about the lodge that tempts world-class athletes? Like most lodges, over the years Spencer Park has experienced several incarnations. It was formed in the 1940s, and during the early years it was the founders and their candidates who kept the lodge solid and functional. In the late 1980s, the nature of the membership changed with the influx of prison officers from the local Wandsworth and Brixton jails. The future looked rosy, but the light rapidly faded as the leader departed for northern shores. Fortunately, South London businessman Mehmet Gursel Simon, a high-level weightlifter, joined Spencer Park at a crucial time. He encouraged me to look into the Masonry, and I joined in 1994. We formed the nucleus of the new direction that the lodge was to take, and indeed is continuing to take to this day. Soon after my initiation, Russell Hart, karate player and top-notch cyclist Simon McCarty joined, giving us a firm foundation for a strong sporting future. My own success in international athletics included a couple of Commonwealth silver medals in the shot put before moving into coaching. In Freemasonry, I found men with competitive but also caring and loyal instincts. I was at home in an organization and motivated to spread the word among friends and colleagues. By 2003, having occupied the master's chair for 2 years, I slotted in as secretary, feeling this to be an ideal chance to work on expanding the sporting membership. The first new member at this time was John Powell, an international coach with a squad of South London youngsters who were making waves in the sprinting world. John was a superintendent in the Metropolitan Police and a highly motivated man. Once on board, he showed a strong commitment to the lodge. His influence extended into the younger generation, whom he encouraged to look at Masonry in a new light. This started the lodge's revival. For many years, our organization has been viewed with suspicion by the general public, and Spencer Park saw it as part of its raison d'etre to spread a positive word. Although we are only a small part of the whole, it was felt that we could make a contribution towards helping Masonry flourish by enlightening sporting youngsters in our activities. Gathering speed. The pressures of life for the younger generation are immense, so the Lodge instituted a commitment to a lodge of instruction with built-in flexibility to account for the difficult hours now worked by younger members. We also looked at bringing more sports coaches in to balance the younger intake. 2 very important sportsmen became members at this time. Donald Reed was an Olympic finalist in 1984 in Los Angeles. He moved from competing to coaching and has had many successes to his name in track and field over the past 20-plus years. A close friend and coaching colleague of his, Clarence Callender, ex-Army man and now Olympic team coach in the relays, also joined Spencer Park's ranks. The core of the membership continued to support this direction. Terry Cover White, who had joined from Rhetoric Lodge, became a central pillar, and along with John Hardy formed the heart of the lodge. At this point, Mark Chapman joined our ranks. An international coach, he has been a major asset to Spencer Park, setting superb examples of how Masonry and work can fit together harmoniously. From the spark of an idea, Spencer Park has come a long way. Doubtless in the future it will take on other guises and strong membership groups, but in 2012 it is very much a sporting lodge. An Olympic celebration in 2007, Spencer Park's lodge senior members decided to promote the idea of a Masonic celebration for the 2012 London Olympics. As part of this process, a study was conducted on how many Masons had sporting connections. The results revealed strong links between Freemasonry and sport up to the highest level. Historically, that connection has influenced the development of sport worldwide and led to the setting up of many lodge and provincial sporting groups. In the light of these findings, Spencer Park linked with the Royal York Lodge of Perseverance to organize a gala dinner at the Grand Connaught Rooms on the 21st of July this year to celebrate Freemasonry and sport. On 10th of August, the 2 lodges are also hosting a joint meeting. Now, I'm not sure who wrote the article. There was no credit on the Freemasonry Today's website.
Freemason Conspiracies.
Here are 2 conspiracy theories. The first is huge. In fact, you can't miss it if you type in Freemasons and Olympics. 2012, Olympic mascot equals Zionists equals evil Freemasons. The Iranian Olympic Committee has joined other Islamic nations in protesting the official logo of the 2012 Olympic Games in London as being racist, Zionist, and linked to Freemasonry. Apparently, Tehran's other more pressing problems are all wrapped up. Iran's Olympic Committee head Bahram Afsharzadeh claims the logo for the London Olympics, that is supposed to be a geometric representation of the year 2012, actually conceals the word Zion, which is itself an Islamic code word for the Middle Eastern country that has Jews living all over it. Really, quoth Bahram on the Iranian Students News Agency website, and I quote, "This is the first time that this has happened in the history of Olympics. Zionists have exercised influence in Britain, and according to our information, the Summer Games logo has been designed by a Zionist organization linked to Freemasons." End quote. In a letter to the International Olympic Committee, President Jacques Rogue quoted the UK Telegraph site. Bahram wrote, and I quote, "The use of the word Zion by the designer of Olympics logo in the emblem of the Olympic Games 2012 is a very revolting act." End quote. And that was from Freemasonry for Dummies.blogspot.com. And the Olympics are too big to just have one conspiracy theory, so here's another one. Think back to the Olympic Games. How many steps are there for the winners? There are 3 steps for the 3 winners, right? What do these 3 steps symbolize? They symbolize the steps in Freemasonry. The 3rd place winner climbs 1 step, the 2nd place winner climbs 2 steps, and the winner climbs 3. He is now a Master Mason at the top. They hold a torch of fire which symbolizes the god of Olympia. Who carries the torch in America? That's right, the statue or stature of liberty. That's right, the stature or statue of liberty. The reason I say stature or statue is because in the homes of Nubians, it's the statue, and to the Caucasians, it's the stature of liberty. She has a torch in one hand and a book in another, and they never tell you what this book is. They don't say it's the Bible because it's not. It's a special book of the Freemasons. Now you can say that I'm just making this up, but truth is truth, and you can't run from truth. On the Olympic flag, there are 5 interlaced rings that is said to represent the 5 continents that joined together in the Olympic movement. But we know that these 5 circles symbolize the 5 coins used in the United States: the penny, the nickel, dime, quarter, and half dollar. On the back of the dime, it has a symbol of the faces, a bundle of sticks tied together with an axe. This symbolizes all of the nations putting their sticks together and forming a one world nation under one power. The motto of the Olympics is Citius, Altius, Fortius, faster, higher, stronger. And the Greek team is always the first to enter the stadium, with all other nations following in alphabetical order. Are you beginning to see how it all ties in? Well, that one was pretty out there. So I hope you guys all had a great laugh at those. Sometimes it's hard not to laugh while reading these for everybody, but we all need a laugh sometimes. This week's famous Freemason is Kennedy Kane MacArthur, and the following is read from irishfreemasonry.com. An Olympic hero and proud Freemason. On Sunday, the 14th of July, 1912, the name K.K. MacArthur was added to the Olympic history when he triumphed in South Africa colors at Stockholm, Sweden. However, nowhere was MacArthur's marathon victory celebrated with more pride than in his birthplace, the village of Dervach, Co. Antrim. Kennedy K. MacArthur was born on February 10, 1881. He attended Dervach Upper National School, and on leaving became the local postman. The figure of Big Ken was a familiar sight in the neighborhood, sprinting along the country roads with his post bag on his back. Although he was recognized as a promising athlete, MacArthur did not pursue a career in sports, and instead he set off to seek his fortune in South Africa. MacArthur joined the Transvaal Police Force and before long began to take his running more seriously. At 6'3", 170 pounds, he was not an obvious long-distance runner. Nevertheless, in his first marathon, he beat an Olympic silver medalist. He never lost touch with friends and family at home and often returned to Co Antrim, Ireland. During one visit in 1907, he was initiated into Lodge number 57 in Ballymoney, before returning to South Africa to take a leading role in the King Edward Lodge number 3004 in Potchefstroom. Come on, Antrim. By 1912, MacArthur had become an obvious selection for the Olympics in Sweden. The Stockholm Olympic Marathon took place in sweltering heat, and everyone knew this temperature would be the deciding factor. By the final stages of the race, MacArthur had a commanding lead, but he was suffering from the fatigue of running in the unbearable conditions. Without warning, as MacArthur entered the Olympic Stadium, a well-intentioned Swedish spectator placed a huge garland around his shoulders, and he almost collapsed under its weight, his legs giving way. It was then that MacArthur heard a voice from the crowd urging him on in a familiar Ulster accent. Come on, Antrim. Come on, Antrim. It was enough to give MacArthur the boost he needed. He crossed the line as the Olympic marathon champion after 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 54.8 seconds. A new Olympic record and 58 seconds ahead of his silver medal winning teammate Christopher Gitschem. Career ends with injury. The Olympic marathon was MacArthur's 6th and last marathon. Remarkably, he won all 6. However, his sporting career was short-lived. 1 year later, an accident involving a skateboard, a rope, and a moving vehicle literally stopped MacArthur's fledgling career in its tracks. He never ran professionally again. Following his victory, MacArthur returned to live in Dervach with his South African wife. However, the Northern Irish climate did not agree with his better half, so the MacArthurs returned to live in Potchefstroom, South Africa, where in 1957 he became the worshipful master of number 3004, before his death in 1960 at age 79 years old. That's it for this week. Remember to find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Whence Came You, and add us to your circle on Google Plus at the address wcypodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, or on the blog page at wcypodcast.blogspot.com. Links to everything, including our Android and Apple apps, are there as well. Also, we have links to Masonic businesses and other cool stuff like our videos. Speaking of videos, if you haven't seen the videos on the Vimeo and YouTube channels, check those out. And until next week, for Whence Came You, I'm Robert Johnson.